All right, everyone. This is SBN, the SBN lifestyle. I'm just going to get right into it. Um, Things lately have been, I don't know if any of you feel the same way about this, but things have just been kind of crazy lately. And I understand that the times that we're in are always changing and things are going on. But, I'll start out with there was a guy downstairs in my apartment that passed away the other day, and his air conditioner was running for like 3 days or so. And I said something's wrong because he never turned his air conditioner off. And here he was dead down in his room. And then I have another neighbor guy downstairs from me. I know him. His name's Tom, and he hasn't answered his door, and his air conditioner has been on for 3 days. And my head is right next to his air conditioner, a floor below me. So I'm about 6 feet from his air conditioner, and I can hear it whistling, making this really low humming noise. So I think something is wrong with him. He might be dead downstairs. I don't know. I'm about to go over here, and I don't want to be nosy or get in his business or anything, but I think something's wrong because I haven't heard him moving around neither. And I wrote a note on his door, and he never came up in my room and said anything. So that's just one thing that is, crazy, is that there's so many people today that are alone and they're just going through this lonely, depressed, no one to talk to. They're by themselves. They either lost their family, or they don't have a family, or something happened where they were married and they broke up. I don't know the situation, but I know that this shit is a epidemic. It is a epidemic right now. And I'm not talking about this virus and all this stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about us people in general. There is an epidemic of huge proportion going on. And I know this because I am one of them people, but you know, I kind of take care of myself. I'm always aware of what I'm doing, and I'm the only one that can help me or save me from myself. God's not going to save me. People ain't going to save me. Places ain't going to save me. Things ain't going to save me. Ideas are not going to save me. Pride and ego's not going to save me. My ideologies are not going to save me. Nothing's going to save me from myself but me. That's it. If I want to live life the rest of my life. But I keep telling people this, and I've been telling myself this lately too, y'all. You cannot save people. You cannot help. There's only very, very little that you can do for other people. You can say, hey, do you need to talk about something? What is on your mind? What are you going through? Is there anything that we can do? What do you want to do? You know what I mean? You can do very little for people, but sooner or later, you're going to have to leave their presence, and they're going to be by themselves again. They're going to be alone again. They're going to be somewhere in a four-cornered room or out in the street or somewhere. And it's just crazy because people are just dropping like flies. And I understand that all of us, we're going to die one day, but I know from the late 80s, when I was a young child, from the 90s to the 2000s to the 2010s to right now in 2020, things have changed drastically. And I know all of you know this, but yet, it's like I'm telling you this, but I'm not telling you this to bring you down. I'm not telling you this to get depressed. I'm not telling you this to make everybody more confused and worry about things than what they already are. I'm not doing it for that, but I just think this is what I talk about in my videos. You know how I talk about everybody's putting on kind of like a facade and a mask all the time, and we're acting like everything's good and everything's cool? See, this is the problem. This is why so many people are dropping like flies, and there's so many lonely people, and there's so many people that live in these places by themselves. They don't talk to nobody. They don't really do anything with their lives, because this is what has happened with our society and what has happened with technology being in the way of everything. And I understand that I'm on a phone right now, but this is the only way that I have to communicate with people, is on my phone, because I don't mess with too many people. But see, me, I'm different in the way that I don't necessarily want to be around people all the time. I like being by myself, but I do get lonely. I do get down and out, and I do get my days where I'm like thinking about the old times with my brothers and my mom, and us being, having Christmas together and family gatherings. You know what I mean? It used to be so different. And my family, they still have gatherings, but I don't have a kid. They're there with their children, and they're there, and it's like, that's their little thing. I let them do what they do, but I just feel out of place because I don't have a kid, and I just don't do a lot of the things that they do. You know what I mean? I'm different. I just don't do what they do, so therefore I'm the lonely sheep, kind of. You know what I mean? But we think that, there is a big problem going on right now. But see, that this is why I always say it comes down to the individual person. If they want to take a bunch of drugs and they want to go from this world, they have a right to do that. But here's the thing, and whatever else they want to do, if they want to do whatever they want to do to themselves, that's what they are going to do, and you can't stop it. But here's the thing, even though it is horrible that people die and people suffer, and I don't like it, and I feel bad for the people that die and go through that. But the thing is, the living have to deal with this stuff. I know sooner or later, someone in my family, or maybe me, or somebody I know, is going to die. Somebody is going to die sooner or later. And then the living have to deal with that. The living have to suffer. The living have to think about it. The dead ain't thinking about this stuff. Unless you think there's this afterlife and we go somewhere and our body floats away, our soul floats away and stuff. I even say the word soul, like soul music, like she got that soul, he got that soul, you feel that soul in the music, even I say that word, but I don't necessarily believe that we have a soul. I don't know, maybe we do, maybe we don't. But the thing is, if when people die, they are dead, they are gone, they're not worrying, they're not thinking about nothing. But yet me and other people, I'm not saying this in any kind of way, but we have to deal with it. They don't. As bad as it sounds, and I love my bigger brother to death. My bigger brother Earl was my role model when I was younger. I wanted to be around my bigger brother Earl all of the time. I watched him shoot up every day. I watched him before he became a drug addict, and we used to be together sometimes, not as much, because I would be going from my house to my Aunt Vicky's, and I would go back and forth there a while. And then I was in this stage where I was going to my dad's house a couple times, and then to my aunts, to my mom's, to my grandma and pops. I was going all over the place. Not my grandma and pops as much, but it's these are things that build up over time, and it's like it caused me to be the person that I am. And I lost train of thought. Forgive me for that. I lose train of thought sometimes. Oh yeah, talking about my brother Earl. I looked up to him as a role model, and as bad as it sounds, he is gone right now. He's not thinking about nothing. He's not in existence. He's not suffering. He's not going through no pain. I'm sitting here, as selfish as it may sound, I have to be the one sitting here thinking about it and living with it the rest of my life, And I keep a picture. I got a picture of him right here that I keep, and I just pulled it out a little bit ago, a couple weeks ago, because I couldn't look at his picture. I couldn't have it around me because it just hurt too much, And that's the thing, it's like, this is why I say life is a very weird phenomena, because we don't want to die, but yet we're all gonna die. And then when someone dies, we say, oh, it's so horrible, and I'm so depressed that they're dead. Well, let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to offend people, but if you think that your loved one went to this heaven, and there's a heaven when you die, then what are you so sad about? What are you so depressed about if they're in this better place? I can understand that you're not going to see them no more and you're going to miss them. I understand all of this, y'all. But, if there was this heaven, then why not just, and I'm not telling people to do this, but why not just off ourselves and go to this heaven if it's waiting for us, if paradise is waiting for us? What are we waiting for? Why are we sticking around? Because we know we only have one life to live. We're going to live, and then we're going to die. And while I'm alive, I want to make the best out of my moments. I want to make the best out of this present moment right now. However that is, But I know in the meantime, there is this steady contradiction going on that I'm going to keep talking about to y'all. And I think it's really important that we understand this. Because like I said, we say death is a bad thing, but is it really that bad? The person doesn't even know they're dead anymore. They're gone. They're not thinking about nothing. And then the living people have to deal with this stuff. And it's like, sometimes I'm like, well, it's actually better to be dead than to be alive sometimes, as bad as that is to say. I'm not trying to get you depressed or suicidal or thinking of doing anything to yourself. That is not my motive for this video. But these are the things, if we get brutally honest with ourselves, that you will be asking yourself over time is, I hear a lot of people, we're complaining about life, and I understand because I do the same thing. We're complaining about life, and we're talking about we don't want to be here and we don't want to live and stuff. Well, what are you waiting for? If there's this heaven and stuff, then why are you going through this life? Because you know that you only have one life. And this is why I tell you, find a way to do what you love and like to do in your life and to feel as good as you can right now, because that's all that matters. You know what I mean? It's all that really matters. You know, what are we living for? We live to feel good. We live to enjoy this life. We live to do things that are healthy. If you're someone that, you know, cares about your own health, and I know a lot of people don't care about their own health because they don't care about anything. But then I tell these people, you know, then what are you hanging on for? What are you hanging on to? You know, even though I know that life gets hard sometimes and we get down and out and we have our bad days and stuff, I know how all of this is. I know how all of it works. I went through it hundreds of thousands of times. I don't know how many days I've been alive. I'm about to be 35. But I know this at a middle age. I know so many things that I went through, and I almost experienced everything. You know, I almost died a couple times. You know, I had health problems. I still have a couple health problems. The only thing that I haven't been is a gangster. I was never in the mob or anything like that. That's the only thing that I didn't live or I didn't go through, you know. But I don't know. I know this video is going to come across as like depressing and like I'm telling you to off yourself. And I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. But this is the question that I want people to ask themselves. There's so many people I hear talking about this heaven and there's paradise waiting for us. And our loved ones, when they die, they go to heaven and they're in a better place. Well, so what? Everybody goes to heaven? You know, it talks about this hell and heaven place. Well, then who goes to these places? Like, it just doesn't make any sense when you really, really dig into this. And I will say this, and I know a lot of people will get offended, but religion is for immature people. Religion is for people that they can't even see what their own, they don't even go by their own doctrine. And I know what it says. I know what the Bible says, and I know what a lot of books that people go by say. I know what they say because I lived it and I read it, and I was doing that for years. I read the Bible for years, and I was in it, and I was meditating, and I was praying all the time, so I know what it's like. And I just found out that over time, it's for immature people. It's for people that don't know better. It's for people that have not seen things for what they really are yet. And I know a lot of you, you're not going to understand that, but it's true. It's true. Because these people, they haven't did research into things of life to really see what they are really saying about these things. Like I said, if there's this heaven, then what are you waiting for? Why are you going to live another 20, 30, 40 years if you can just go to this heaven and meet God? Because you know deep down inside that you have one life and you have one life only, and you're going to die. And when you die, you're not going to know none of this anymore. You're not going to exist. That's why it's called death. That's why it's called death, people, because you die. And I know how it is. I'm scared too. I'm scared to die. And I get very nervous talking about this stuff because I don't want to die. I'm scared to, know that I'm going to go into a casket and go into the ground and whatever. But guess what? The people that will be suffering is the people that are alive, not the ones that are dead. They're going to go through a little bit of suffering when they die or before they die, leading up to death. But it's, you know what I mean? So just resonate on that for a minute. I'm going to end the video. before 20 minutes. Thank you for watching. I'll talk with y'all.